It's an interesting notion in journalism that the professional ethics and standards require them to violate the law.
Randall Eliason is a former federal prosecutor who has studied the legal standing of the privilege that reporters assert to protect their sources.
No one has a right to decide for themselves what the law requires. I know journalists feel very strongly that they need this privilege in order to do their jobs. Congress hasn't agreed, and the Supreme Court hasn't agreed. And so journalists have no more right than any other witness to say, I'm just not going to testify, no matter what you say.
With the journalists refusing to cooperate, last May, the Justice Department authorized subpoenas to the Chronicle and its two reporters, requiring that they reveal the source of the leaked grand jury testimony.
The Justice Department was way out of line here. This was an abuse of power.
Mark Corallo, who was involved in approving media subpoenas under Attorney General Ashcroft, filed an affidavit in support of the reporters.
The government just did not meet the standards set by their own guidelines. The guidelines are very clear. A media subpoena should only be sought when all other avenues of investigation have been foreclosed, and only in exigent circumstances. And exigent circumstances were explained to me to be grave national security matters.
Emergencies.
Yeah, emergencies.
Life and death.
Life and death.
What's the problem here? Your successor is not a baseball fan?
I don't know. I don't know what's happened here. It seems that there's been a policy shift. It seems that, the way we operated under Attorney General Ashcroft, where we were absolutely committed to not issuing one of these subpoenas, that seems to have changed.
Mr. Corallo is no longer at the Justice Department, and so I think he's not aware of all the facts and perhaps surrounding these cases.
Tasia Scolinos is Mark Corallo's successor at the Justice Department and helped review the media subpoenas in the Balco case.
There's no legal requirement that the department put special guidelines in place when it comes to subpoenaing members of the media. Those are self-imposed guidelines. We feel that we have a very serious obligation on behalf of the taxpayers to prosecute cases to the fullest extent of the law.
What's the national security or exigent circumstances in a case where the President of the United States has commended the reporting?
Well, if you notice, the guidelines don't specifically say it has to be a national security case.
Understood.
The guidelines, I believe, say that there needs to be exigent circumstances, and that can take a lot of different forms.